Hello, I'm Robin Gibson, and this is the Harvard House Money Morsel. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell so you get a notification of when we're releasing a new video. I'm sitting today with Nick Rogers. Morning, Nick.
Morning, Robin.
So, Nick, one of the things that we like to do when we get the opportunity is to sit and talk with management of companies that we're interested in. And sometimes the stockbrokers that we use make that facility available. You and a couple of members of the team have just recently been on such a conference in Cape Town. I don't know why they hosted in Cape Town, but anyway. Maybe give us some insights of who you spoke to and what they had to say.
Sure, Robin. I think it's just great for clients to know that although we're sitting in Howick, we actually, we are in front of management of these top companies. And Cape Town, wonderful place to go to pick up a real vibe of South Africa on all fronts. So we enjoyed meeting management, and you're talking to people from Naspers, the biggest company in South Africa, down to small caps that they've got interesting stories. So you're hearing the beginnings of those stories and trying to work out where they're headed. But I think between us, we probably covered about 35 companies.
Sure, that's amazing.
All the JSE listed.
So Nick, just in terms of that, I mean, it would be very easy, given when you went on the conference, that the conversation was only about war. But actually, it's one of the things that we always say is that companies are not countries and countries are not companies. There's far more stories. I know you presented in our investment meeting as a team, so I've heard a lot of what you said. But there's a lot more going on than just the war in the Middle East, even if that does overshadow everything.
Yeah, so what's wonderful is you get, I think we'll start with AI, artificial intelligence. And it's great to gauge how South African companies are dealing with, adding AI to their daily routines and to their businesses. We're so focused on the FANG stocks across in America. What are the guys doing at home? And the first industry which jumped out at us in terms of the biggest adopter of AI is the insurance and financial sector. So we spoke to Sanlam, we spoke to Momentum, and if you look at insurance, they are data businesses masquerading as financials.
Yes.
If you think of every form you fill out with insurers, they're getting your whole life on a form.
Yes.
And so they've got this huge treasure trove of data on everyone in the country that's signed up. And it's how they use that information. And that's what's becoming very big business for them as they implement solutions. And insurance is about risk, mitigating risk. So you can use AI to vet all the people that have been onboarded, and it can pick up who's the most likely to default first.
Okay. Sure.
Things like that, where it can save millions of rands, hundreds of millions of rands in time and conversations and all that type of thing. Costs are obviously huge with AI, so it's reducing costs is one of the main drivers. And I think 35%, they said, of productivity has been enhanced by AI.
Sure.
From that. The time spent, so I think there's 1,400 hours a month are being saved for financial advisors. So guys not having to answer question after question, AI is prompting all those answers to the client.
Yes.
And that frees up the advisors to go and find money from clients. So the insurers are really enjoying that. And then we get to the likes of Naspers. So Naspers is, obviously it's linked to Tencent, and Tencent are the biggest AI player in China. And so Naspers gave a good summation of what they're seeing. And what was quite comforting is, AI is moving very fast. And even Naspers attending a conference in Europe, mixing with all the top IT guys in Europe, also said everyone else felt they were behind as well. So if you are feeling stressed about not knowing how to use ChatGPT and all that, the big guys are also struggling out there. Yes. The whole point of AI is to monetize it. How do you monetize this? And that's all in the background, what they're trying to do while spending loads of money. So Naspers, I think one of the key things for Naspers is Tencent has got WeChat, which is the same as WhatsApp. 1.4 billion Chinese need WeChat to run their lives. And in all the architecture, all the designs behind the AI infrastructure, all the big developers, WeChat and WhatsApp were the two key components of all of that for communication. So Naspers is very well placed. And then we got to sit with one of South Africa's dollar billionaires, Zak Calisto from Karoo, that's with 5 O's. But he's famous for launching CarTrack, and that's fleet management. And he's always said, we met him last year, and he said, AI has always been around, but just a different name. It's analyzing data. But he said, what's changed now is the speed at which you can do that. So good to chat with a guy like that who's, he's made a huge success out of using data analysis to track cars and run fleets across the globe. AI, I think from what we picked up, all businesses mentioned how they're using it. I think over 90% of South African businesses have implemented it. So.
Amazing. So, I mean, obviously we always default to this technology, and technology is a lot, but there were also some interesting things in terms of actual, making stuff out of things. So I think you were sort of explaining to us that there's a trend to move away, or there's an optionality around an alternative to iron ore. So maybe just talk to us about that. Yeah.
And that's another great thing about these conferences is you're sitting with management and they drop little cues. You can see their facial expressions and you can read, what they're thinking as well, to some extent. But we were chatting to Valterra, which is Amplats, ex-Amplats. That's from the Anglo Platinum stable. And he said, guys, just Google basalt fiber because it's going to play a key role in the future. So he didn't go into detail, but I looked it up afterwards. And basalt fiber is basically, it's molten volcanic rock. So it's freely available everywhere. It's 100% non-corrosive, as volcanic rock would be. So when you put it up against iron ore, if you think about rebar in roads and in construction, it gives that structure 100 years plus of lifespan because there's no corrosion against salt down near the coast or chemicals. So it's very strong. It is one of those products that, although it's not abundant at the moment in terms of production, it's going to come more and more into the future because it's an eco-friendly way of doing things. If you think of all the iron smelters in China, the pollution that we get from that. Basalt fiber it's 2 to 3 times stronger than steel, if you can imagine that. And the whole point of why he was talking about it was rhodium is a massive part of their business. Rhodium's added to basalt fiber to allow it to get to temperatures of 1,000 degrees. So in terms of dealing with wind turbines, that type of thing, rhodium plays a key part. This is just a new future product. So maybe in 10 years' time, we'll hear more about basalt fiber coming into our lives. And everything construction related.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Nick, thanks for giving us those insights. I think one of the most interesting things for me is that we do get to read at a different level and engage at a different level than just the main press. And so that's what keeps us positive because we do see these things happening. So thank you for sharing those insights. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.